morning, everyone. It is Friday night, and it's the 97th episode of the Comic Shop Talk. And yes, you are looking at a very delicious, bona fide pizza. And I myself had a pizza a few hours ago with my minions, and it was quite fantastic, might I add. But I'm glad to see there's already people here, ready, alive, waiting, and ready to hang, ready to party, ready to chat. This is what I like to see. It's what makes a good Friday night. Of course, we have a guest that's going to be hanging out to promote his book, and we got another guy who's going to pop in to promote his promotion for his next upgrade. And it's just going to be all out random geek chat. It's going to be, for those who somehow don't know, we discuss hauls, what we've been into lately, whether it's something new, something old, any just random anything goes type of chat. But like I said, we got our guest here. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great, and I'm happy to be here, and I hope you all are as well. Let's see, how's it going, David Glenn, who's now part of the crew and part of the Gilded community. Which get on Gilded. Jason Sandberg, what's up, Jason? I am so happy to see the upgrades of Jupiter. Those upgrades are monstrous, and we'll be dropping you in shortly later on to show those off. D Bud, what's up, D Bud? How's it going, Lisa? Nice to see you here. John Capola, how's it going, John? Nice to see you. Tina Bojan, how's it going? Nice to see you as well. Oh, and then Christian DeLorme right away coming in. Huge. 69. Slayer. I did that in the wrong order, but you get the point. With a Canadian $5. Thank you, Christian. How are you, sir? Hopefully you and Mel are doing well up there, up in the north. That is Canada. And what's up to my guy, Vince Womack? Nice to see you here, man. You guys came here ready and waiting. I love this. This makes me happy, and this is what I love to see. And this is what gets a good show rolling. And you know what? Let's bring in some of the dudes here. So Pablo will be here because Pablo is just basically, he's on like Batman time. He shows up when he shows up. And you know what? That is okay because he's been here for every single episode. And that's an accomplishment in itself. So let's bring in the common nerd and see how he's doing with that wonderful shirt on.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? It's been a long day. I'm exhausted, tired, and wet. Been working on dishes and cooking dinner and making videos all day. So, yeah, I'm ready to geek out over some stuff and relax for a little while before I go back to work before the night's over.
The grind is endless. The grind is endless, dude.
Yeah. Especially when you're dealing with everything I'm dealing with. Grinding's the only way to survive right now.
Dude,
But shout out to everybody in the chat. So good to see you guys here. Especially all of my good friends. You got Jason and Credence out there. Shout out to you guys. I'm excited to talk about some comics. I've been reading a little something. I'm sticking with the Warhammer stuff right now. I had some pretty good stuff with that, so probably chit chat about that a little bit. Super excited to hear about this new comic. This sounds freaking awesome. I'm always excited to hear about new comics. I'll have to have a guy on my show now too. But yeah, so super excited to talk about that. Glad you guys had a good haul this week. So let's get this party started. It's gonna be huge.
No, glad to have you, common nerd. I'm excited and I'm ready to get this rolling. And of course, the mighty Clobberer himself. How you doing, Clobbering Times?
Oh, sorry. I was clobber snoring. What's up, Doug? What's up, man? I don't even know what it means, but good. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you all.
Great to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you.
You've had quite the journey today.
It's nothing to it. Just 500 miles of driving, easy peasy.
Woo! That is a journey, my friend.
Well, when you're old, fat, and hadn't slept in 2 days, it's probably not a good idea. But you know, when you gotta do what you got to do. So, anyway, good to be here, hanging out. But I don't have a lot of energy, but I will work on it.
All good, my friend. Just happy to have you, and I'm sure the chat mutually agrees with me as well.
Hey, chat. What's up, my friends?
Yes.
And Lisa's here. Ladies. Wait a minute, say it right. Ooh, ladies.
And we got Bush Pan down too.
Hey,
Bush. Love that avatar, by the
And
way.
Tina. There's Tina as well. Oh, sorry.
Yes, Tina
I like
Bojan.
shouting out the ladies. I'm sorry.
No, dude. Hey, I will not stop you. I know how it goes with you.
It's a Rip Tracks thing, dude.
all good, my friend. It seems like the greetings and feelings are mutual around this space, and that is a wonderful thing. But happy to have you here despite your
Thanks, buddy. No, I'm good, man.
and I'm ready to have some fun tonight.
Even more loopy than usual is all.
It's fine. I know you posted some photos of stuff that you've been reading, and I'm hoping sometime tonight we can share that with because it seemed like you were reading. Oh, well, I saw the photos you were posting on Twitter.
I'll just look at the pictures. No. Yeah, but it's the same old stuff I'm always talking about. You're tired of hearing about that, but
no, we're not.
I have been reading it. Yeah.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, you're not gonna go there, Claude.
You know what, Nick? I actually read I read a new comic too. I actually read a new.
Well, now you have to share both later on, then. All right.
I might.
Old and new.
I don't do that, so it's a weird thing. For those who are wondering, I don't do that, but I did.
But he did.
I don't, but I did.
Infinity.
Captain Infinity and beyond. You know, he doesn't exist, by the way. No, but he does. But he does. He knows what I'm talking about. He gets it. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. One day I'll know. Glad to have you, Clobby. And, of course, the Iron Caster with an amazing Corgi shirt where the Corgi's wearing a Hawaiian shirt in it. Dude,
oh, boy.
That shirt is insane.
Wow.
I know. Oh, that's a favorite. Is awesome. Yeah. I might have to have one. Just saying.
I think it was only like a limited print run, so good luck with that. Unless you want to go to the eBays, unfortunately. But no, but it's been a good week, and I'm on a 3-day weekend now, so I get to relax.
Nice. Sounds like you need it, judging by the sound of your sound. Sounds like it's necessary.
It was like last week was crazy overtime, and then like the other guy is like, yeah, I'm taking all of this week off, so you can take some time off like when I get back. It's like, thanks.
Real helpful, bro. Real helpful. Such a good friend. John Capone grind. Woo!
Yeah, Caster.
Love it.
Yep. Worked out the port.
You're right.
3 days straight happened all the time. Oh, that sucks.
He put me to shame. Guys, I got to go back to work.
Yeah, you do.
I love it.
Tell him, Clobby.
Glad to have you here, Caster. As always, glad to have you. And I'm sure, as I said earlier, Pablo will be here when he's here. Fenrir will show up as well.
Well, but you realize, Nick, you got to put out the proper bait for Pablo. There's
anime girls.
Oh, that's some good bait. However, I think there's one extra little bit of bait here that I think might be really good for luring in Pablo. Great. A little game that came out, a little, maybe you haven't heard of it. Game that came out this weekend.
I'm listening.
Tears of the Kingdom. No. Yeah, I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
Pablo.
Pablo's not into that sort of thing. Pablo's not into that.
We'll see if it works, folks.
Funny story on that Ironcaster. I literally was waiting for the sequel to actually beat Ganon, so that's probably what I'm going to work on this weekend. I waited a year. I did almost all the rest of the side quests. Never even bothered. I was just waiting until I could actually beat him. Until I knew the second was coming from.
Well, you're going to be surprised to find out that he's now voiced by Matt Mercer.
No, I don't think I really care. Well, I don't know I don't know what else he voices.
He's like one of the big guys from like Critical Role. He's a big voice actor.
Oh, okay. That's
fine. What's a voice actor? No, that's a quote from Mark Hamill making a joke. I love that shirt.
Did you really?
Justice League Action. It was an episode of Justice League Action where he did the voice of
the Trickster?
Joker, Trickster, and Swamp Thing, and himself. In an episode.
And himself.
Yeah, and there was a scene they kidnapped him, and anyway, he gets when they get caught, he says, "Oh, it's Mark Hamill, you're the greatest voice actor ever." And then the joke goes, "What's a voice actor?"
Perfect. I think I might have seen that clip.
I gotta watch that. That sounds awesome.
I like that cartoon. That's pretty cool.
No, I watched a few episodes. No,
they're
thank
pretty
you.
fun, man. They got a great episode.
I actually liked what I saw. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. They're nice, quick cartoons, but
some of them are short. They have some 3-minuters and they have some 10-minuters. One of the 3-minuters has it has the Flash as Roadrunner and Lobo as Wile E. Coyote. It's hilarious.
All right.
I remember there was an episode where like Poison Ivy was basically taking control of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that's right. It was one. Yeah.
All right. So, all right, we got another super chat we're going to acknowledge and welcome Dearest and Christian Delorme here with another Canadian 5. Says, shout out to Vince Fullback. He hates it.
He hates it.
And welcome to the Office Girl, a.k.a. formerly the Islington Girl. Says, wouldn't it be crazy if Zelda was the girl? That was the meme I saw. I know, right? Talk about the biggest self-own. Biggest self-own. But how you doing? Thank you both for being here. But let's bring in Adega Outlaw. How are you, sir?
Hello, not too bad. I got to admit, I have been on live streams with Alan Dean Foster, Pat Tallman a few times, several other celebrities. I made friends with Joe Malazzi. Never had a problem. I'm actually kind of nervous this time. You guys, I don't know what it is.
No, don't be. You hang
You're
out
right.
with
It's Clobby.
How can you have any nerves left? If you know.
It is Clobby. It's all your fault.
True. I do.
No, thanks for having me on. I've been in the chat and watched for a while and kept quiet because most people here I kind of don't know, but thanks for having me on. It's a good experience. Hopefully you don't throw stones at me.
Oh,
I have rocks right here.
I'm just happy to have you. Happy to have you. That's I know I've been keeping my eye, and I saw you were doing some stuff, and we'll definitely get to that later and talk about what you've been doing on your side of the pond, and I can't wait to do that. But so, okay, we're gonna do the first things first. Since Pablo and Fenrir are not here, I'm just gonna show off some sweet haulage and geekage of what I got. I did the free comic day, and of course I inherited some killer back issues. And well, guys, I'm gonna come. So of course I got the usual, the easy freebie, the Conan the Barbarian one from Mr. Jim Zub here, and that is going to be on Titan Comics with De La Torre. I forgot what his first name was. Rob De La Torre on pencils. Preview copy of what's to come. That will be on Titan Comics. For those who do not know, Mr. Zub was actually with Andre. Of course, shout out to Andre, Midnight's Edge.
Right.
He did a conversation with him last week, and I would highly recommend watching that because it seems like Zub was very, very excited about this book. He said this is basically what he wanted to do with Conan, but unleashed. So when you hear the words unleashed, that's like, okay. He said there's gonna be blood and guts, and he said there's gonna be story, but he said he wants to do like a huge run. So I was just like, I'm listening. Talk to me. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out because Jim Zub is excited, and it's made me excited. And of course, I like my Spider-Mans, and dude, I'm like scraping for the new bottom of the barrel with some of these villains now. Do you guys remember the Persuader?
Tell me more.
I know the DC version. Oh, that's what I do. More obscure. He's more obscure than the DC version. Funny how both almost there's no name that both company doesn't use just about. With a few, except for big names.
Yep, I got one, the Persuader. I'm like, wow, that name is awful, and I want it.
Right, Shelby Samuel Cusber.
Oh yeah.
For a second, I thought you were talking about an old girlfriend.
I like Persuaders. Remember the Fatal Five better, but yeah, that's a great Shelby Samuel cover. I agree, Jason. Shelby Samuel could do no wrong.
The comic looks like it's in good condition.
Love that shirt.
Yeah,
dude. That's greatness.
No, dude, I saw it at Kohl's, and it was like $7.
Love
I'm
it.
like, bro, I
Greatness.
gotta have it. So I was all in on it. And then I found another one with now this villain I did know about, and somehow I never had an issue of him prior, but dude, the Cobra. Freaking Cobra.
Cobra.
The Cobra, man.
Right.
I mean, what you gonna do, Spider-Man, when the Cobra comes after
I
you?
think that's a burn cover.
Well, I can open up and we can find out.
They don't put the cover. They don't credit covers.
No, they
inside.
at the time, yeah, they didn't put all the details on the front. But yeah, this was number 143 from Spectacular. This is number 46 from Spectacular. And then I've got number 62 of Spectacular with the Gold Bug.
Wow. They had some obscure fucking villains in those Peter Parker issues, huh?
Oh, I know.
Your favorite's Razorback, right?
Dude, no, it's the Condor, man.
That's a Nova, though. I'm talking about in Spidey.
Slide. No, dude, I'm pro slide, man. You know that. I like the slide.
The slide, yeah. Oh, good boy. What about the dude on the skates? So is he getting a
Rocket Racer.
Rocket Racer was great. I like
dude.
How about Molten Man too? You know.
Oh, I remember Molten Man, dude. Molten Man,
Puma,
the Iguana,
They were desperate to recapture that magic of the early villains, and they just couldn't. They were terrible.
Yeah. They were trying to repeat the lizard with the iguana, and
No,
obviously,
yes.
it did not.
No, thank you.
They should have used the gecko.
Mhm.
And of course, I always got to have some Daredevil, and I was
Will-O-Wisp.
Daredevil.
I remember hhim, Will-O-Wisp.
Oh, I remember Daredevil versus
That's Claw.
Ulysses Claw. Yeah.
That's a mismatch
like-
there, but Daredevil could take him.
Oh yeah, easily. Daredevil Claw. He'll have a fight because it's
Hey,
Claw.
Nick, do you know that's the issue right after Born Again?
Yes. So
That you and I reviewed, by the way.
great time doing that, by
was
the
fun,
way.
listen.
So I saw that, and of course, I've got to have some Simpsons, and we got number 147, written by the great Chuck Dixon.
Yay.
Ooh.
Chuck.
So I'm excited. I mean, I thought it was a great cover. I'm like, oh man, I just for that cover, I saw Dixon's name. I'm like, okay, that alone is incentive. And then number 154, right over
Wow.
here. Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent. So yeah, those were it was mainly just a bunch of back issues, and I picked up one trade, which I'll show off the trade later. Caster, did you want to show off any goods you scored?
Oh
Or
yeah,
no?
I've got. Yeah, oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot to turn my camera off.
No, you're good, man.
So I was kind of
Should we
all over the
zoom in
place
on
this
you?
week. Yeah, we'll do it for a sec.
Okay.
So, to anyone who wasn't on the Gilded this week, would basically missed out on my little music hall this week. Just to
Ooh.
throw a little bit of a curveball.
Oh. Jeez. All
So
right,
first
I'm zooming in. So
I had to go get the new album from Angus, formerly Angus McFife of Glory Hammer. But he's gone and started his own thing. Where he's like, he can't be Angus McFife anymore, so he's gonna be one better. He's now Angus McSix.
I see what he did there. And
And
totally don't notice.
the couple of songs off it I've had a chance to listen to are excellent.
Nice. Ooh, what's that?
Well, Twilight Force. But look, it's some big old fantasy power metal. It's got dragons on the cover. It's what you're gonna expect. I'm like, I need to make an elf character for my next game. I need to get something that can be on point. And the titular song for them, Twilight Force, is a banger that deserves to be listened to.
Ooh,
course.
Christian's gonna be happy with that one.
Can't go wrong with a little CCR. We got throwing some classics there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Little Blind Guardian for the classics, including their song "Lord of the Ring," and the very best of Elo.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
That was just the music.
Oh, and that was just the music. I like it.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite shows I'm watching right now is a Japanese tokusatsu, superhero show, Kamen Rider Geats. And I was saying for a while I'm gonna get this. I eventually I got the figure of the character from it.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I fucking love this show. I mean, considering that they could do 50 episodes a year, half-hour long episodes. Every episode has action and explosions and all kinds of cool stuff. It's like, what the hell? Why can't why can't we get a Marvel show to do that for that amount of time? There is always an episode every week for me to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And this figure is a beauty. It's super stylish. And yeah, I also got the Conan.
Yes. What were your thoughts on it? Did you or not read it yet?
Oh no, I've had a chance to read it so far. I like what I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of setting out Conan at the start of his adventure is the best way to go to kind of hint and tease where his journey is going to lead him with you're seeing glimpses of the Tower of the Elephant, you're seeing the light, you're seeing some of the lands he goes to eventually. I thought the artwork it has this kind of rough look to it. Actually, that I think is fantastic for sort of a very hyper masculine, hyperborean sort of look.
Cool, Tina. Cool pickup. Yeah, this has a sort of a genre similar to it. A really good genre similar to it.
I did know that was an influence De La Torre is definitely a fan of. And I know that's something that he's definitely and I'm like, dude, it looks good though. It looks great, and I like you, Casper.
I picked up a copy of this for me. I haven't got mine yet, but I'm looking forward to this series. Even I'm going to buy the series.
We might have to get us and then Andre. Maybe we can all chat about it.
Get Andre on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get t-shirt Historian as well because he's a big Howard fan.
I'd love to.
I'll reach out to him.
All right, awesome. Is that all, sir?
It's all the major stuff I've got that I've shown off, but yeah, that's basically about it. Unless you want me to talk about the sewing stuff I picked up.
No.
You don't want to hear about the puppet I'm working on?
Oh, you're killing me. Nah, so I guess I was gonna go to Commoner, but he's doing some. So I guess I'll just acknowledge some of the stuff I've been reading lately, because one of my trades I got was the Booster Gold from the Jeff Johns, Dan Jurgens, Jeff Katz run from 2008. Cool. And that has been really fun. And this is what happens when a guy like Michael John Carter has to fix the few temporal anomalies in time. And it's really fun because Booster's such he's definitely like, dude, you're such a doofus, but he's a very lovable doofus. And it's just fun to see him and Skeets go around and trying to fix things that are still not in place in time after the events of the 52, because there's the event called the 52, and this takes place after that. It's nice to see them have acknowledged the continuity of the very first Booster Gold run that he ever appeared in, which was 24, 25 issues. Then after that, he was part of, I think it was Justice League International, was it? I think it was was it Klobby? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was International.
When they first started, you mean?
When Booster joined the Justice League.
Yes,
it wasn't the Justice League. I think it was International.
They went back to number one numbering. It was Justice League International. It was J.M. DeMatteis and Kevin McGuire series, and of course that was when they first started as friends. The famous blue and gold friendship.
Oh yes, with him and Ted Cord. Yeah, no, on that, and there's nods to all that, and it's cool because he also has a mission of, hey, I kind of want my bro back, and I'm just like, yes, I remember this all over again, and I'm like, it's so fun and it feels good, and it's really ridiculous. And I love his relationship with Rip Hunter. It's just I'm having fun with it. And
Yeah.
of course, I'm now on the second volume of Teen Titans, which is the one that starts in 1984. I
Right,
finally
that's
started
the Baxter
today
book.
with number 1.
Yes, that's the
With number
Baxter
1.
book. Yeah.
Yes, I'm
What
at
happened was, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say that the normal regular print book, the newsstand comic at that time, was that was a newsstand comic that you were reading from the New Teen Titans number 1 to whatever issue it ended. And what they did is they changed it to Tales of Teen Titans.
Yes, at
And they kept
41.
doing some new comic, right? But they put a direct sales only, comic shops only in 1984. It went back to number 1 numbering with a higher quality paper. They called it the Baxter format. So that they did that with that and Legion of Superheroes. They both Teen Titans, and they started a whole new numbering with Teen Titans number 1 that you started. So yeah, and that was at the time, 84.
Yeah. No, I'm
Sorry
right now.
about the dumb information that nobody needs. It just happens.
Oh, dude, no. This is the show for that information. You're kidding me, right?
Yes.
This is where we have that piece of information. No, but number 1, it's nice to see George Perez's art again. And my goodness, even after so many issues he's done, I could just I have to like now take my time with some of these pages, because when I look at these pages,
Yeah,
I'm just like, damn, especially when he does space. I don't know what it is about George Perez in space, but
beautiful.
I'm
Yeah,
just like I'm gonna show off one. Just bear with me here. I'm gonna be a show off, okay? It's time for a bit of a showing off, right here. Just look at that. Just dude, it's just
incredible.
Man. Do you believe that, man? I believe that. I'm just saying. What's up, Steve Mitchum and Pat S, my dudes? Nice to see you guys here in Toy Games.
Hey, buddy.
And Decepticon. I saw you here earlier. Red shirt. Thanks for dropping in, fellas. Nice to see you all here. We got a party in here tonight. I love it. But yeah, dude, I look at stuff like this. I'm like, damn, this is good. It's good. So I'm just. Needless to say, obviously the story continues for me. I can't wait to just complete this run. I'm so excited. It feels good to like have made it this far, because I remember when Clawby was recommending this run to me back when I was new on YouTube, and then I finally started 2 or 3 months ago, 3 months ago maybe now, and now here we are, and now I'm at the next volume of it. It
Glad
feels
you're enjoying
awesome.
it, bud.
No, I'm happy that you were very like, this is the one, and I agree, it's the one.
Yeah, he gave X-Men a run for his money back then.
Oh yeah, like the two were going back and forth for the number one book.
And speaking of Titans and X-Men, should we give a nice quick hint for what's to come next week?
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Next week, a big review.
Next week's review, we are going to be talking the Teen Titans and X-Men crossover, which I'm absolutely stoked to talk about, because, well, obviously I've had this great Titans journey, and, Ironcaster has been really, really adamant about me and the X-Men, so I'm like, this is a great Worlds Collide moment for us all, really. So I'm excited to do this.
Everyone should check out the X-Men once in a while.
Office Girl wants to know if Gambit Rogan. I wouldn't know, but maybe Caster would know.
What about him?
Not based on.
Not yet.
Yeah, no.
In that comic, you mean in Teen Titans X-Men?
No, this is for context wise. This is coming out shortly after the Dark Phoenix saga. So
yes,
I don't
this
believe
is way before they even appeared.
Thank you.
Sorry, I mean step.
No, you're good, man. But yeah, that's what I've been reading on my end. I've got a few more, but I'm gonna shut up so I can let other dudes speak. Common Nerd, what have you been reading lately that you can tell people about?
Mm. So I've been super busy, so I'm still working my way through this Sisters of Battles Warhammer
Okay.
thing. But I kind
Okay.
of want to show you guys off some of these scenes and some of these second ones because these things are just
Show it.
absolutely dope. Hold on. Oh, already at now. Why is this thing doing this? It's being weird. Cover. There we go. I was like, I know I already finished the second one. There we go. Present. Window.
I'm waiting for you to present, Common Nerd. It's not every day I just say you get to present.
Oh, I'll present it for you. I'll always present when asked. I will present.
He's presenting, guys. He's gonna come.
Now, I mean, if nothing, these are just a lot of fun.
Judas
Hey!
Priest.
There you
Judas
go. I love
Priest.
Abigor. Abigor's freaking great.
I met Abigor. Great guy.
Nice. Yeah, him and I always have fun in the chat. But yeah, no, I've been digging into the Warhammer stuff and trying to check some of it out because this is one of those things. I've got certain critics that I love to death that are very hardcore purists, and they're like, the Sisters of Battle are woke. I'm like, if this is as woke as Warhammer gets, then I'm down. Let's do this because these chicks are like, they're basically like nuns with guns. Is essentially what they are. Yeah, they are nuns with guns. Right? You like that? I stole that from somewhere, but I don't remember where. But there's just some really freaky stuff that goes on. There's obviously some really awesome sci-fi, but like, I mean, some of the artwork on some of these demons and some of these monsters they're facing here. And like I said, literally, they're nuns with guns. They're a holy order of strictly females, and they are all about wiping out demons and heretics wherever they can find them. Yeah, renegade nuns on wheels. There you go. Yeah, badass women are not woke. Absolutely. But like, I mean, they've just gone absolutely insane with some of this stuff. And like I said, I just really love the artwork. The story's really great. Basically what it is one of their sisters was actually from this planet originally. And so that's why she's with this particular team because there's all this crazy, there's this cult that's basically taking over all these people's minds deep within this city. And so they send in the Sisters of Battle because it's heresy, basically, to have a cult inside of the Empire. And so they're going in there to wipe them all out. And it turns out there are a bunch of nasty demons and like there's all kinds of other crazy stuff. So you get some incredible artwork that's just things blowing up. You know, I mean, if you like Punisher comics and like, you know, gore and all of that kind of, you know, a lot of that. I mean, all of these things have a mature rating on them for a reason. And then obviously there's some good looking girls. Obviously they have no problem being very toxic with their females, which is something we know we all like and adore. You know, I mean, especially when you've got some of these ones in here and stuff like that. But it's one of those situations where I think this stuff's just been really good. It's a lot of fun. Would you like that one?
Oh, I love that cover.
Yes. Okay. Here, let me go back. Hold on. I got to go back now. Hey, wait.
I think it was like the little end preview.
Go back.
Yep. It was the preview.
Come on.
I know. We got to go back. It was. Oh no, it was the next. Where are we at? I completely lost it. Hold on.
Chuck Norris knows where we're at, though.
Oh, Chuck Norris. Oh, Chuck Norris knows everything.
I think it was the second image.
Let me see here. Second image from the beginning.
I think so because I think you saw her loop back around.
Oh, we're on. Yeah, that's why we're on. We're on one.
Third.
That's why. That's why we missed the. That's why we couldn't find the picture. We jumped back to comic one. Let's see. It should be.
What's up, Wakazashi?
Oh,
hey.
There you go. That one.
Yes, that one.
Yes. That is the preview for the next issue, for issue 3. And I've got like all the way up to like 5 issues of this. But yeah, I mean, they spared no expense when it came to some of this artwork. It's very gruesome. It's brutal. It shows you the, you know, in the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war, right? And it shows you how nasty that really is. It shows you the inner scums of the world, how bad some of the lowest end people live, like how it's just constant warfare, constant fight for survival. Plus you get some really amazing tech in it as well. Like they've got big space battles and stuff like that. And then you just get to watch a bunch of badass females run around and just lay waste to demons. And like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it gets much better than that these days, considering what we normally see females represented as. So,
well, I'm waiting for them to do a comic with the Necrons because of all the Warhammer 40K stuff, the Necrons are kind of my favorite faction, just because they're basically Egyptian. They're robot skeletons in space with an Egyptian theme. So they have like big giant pyramids that float around. They have little scarab beetles, and
they're basically Egyptian zombies inside of really badass metal armor. Yeah, they're super cool.
They're Terminators.
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah, because a lot of them have lost their mind. A lot of them are just kind of like drones, but like the head guys still have all their minds, still have their conscience, still have like their personality and all that kind of stuff. And some of those guys, I mean, you get a wide variety of them. Some of them are complete and total psychopaths. Some of them are really cool. And like, so yeah, it's one of those things, but the Necrons are one of those not quite as popular sections in Warhammer 40K, which is why they don't always get new models. It's why they don't always get new lore. But a lot of that's starting to change now. So I'd imagine it wouldn't surprise me in like the next couple of years, because of a lot of the stuff that's going on inside of the universe, you see more stuff going on with the Necrons, because it's like shit's blown up in the last few years and it's about to get a whole lot crazier.
Like I have a couple of like Necron centric audiobooks saved on my phone that I want to get through this week.
Good. Yeah, a lot of the audiobooks are great because some of these things are kind of thick, and I know a lot of people, if they drive in a lot and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to get through the audiobooks. So yeah, there's a lot. The Black Library has an incredible list of like all of their audiobooks and all the books and everything else. You can find all the stuff that's just Necron specific. That's the cool. This is what I always try to tell everybody. That's the cool part about Warhammer. If there's something you like out in normal comic books or in normal fantasy, there's a Warhammer equivalent. Like my co-host Diesel, he loves big robots, he loves Transformers and stuff like that. There is an entire legion, there's an entire section of the army that's all they do. The Imperial Knights, like that's all they do is they're giant robots with people inside of them. Sometimes the people can come out, sometimes the people can't, sometimes they're stuck in there. And there's a million really cool stories. There's all that kind of stuff. So if you like space, if you like elves, you know, you've got the Eldar, which you've got a dark evil version of them. You've got kind of like
let's not forget the fact that the elves were so like degenerate and corrupted that they birthed like chaos gods into existence.
Yeah, that was one of the three factions. So there's like three factions of them, and one of them, they're literally all about like the highest ends of emotion that you can imagine, the most extremes. It's like I think I might have mentioned this before, or at least maybe not here, but somewhere else. It's like exactly like a Pinhead. I'm having a brain fart. Hellraiser.
Cenobites.
Yeah, Cenobites. It's exactly like Cenobites. They are literally like space elf versions of Cenobites, except a million times worse, and all of their worst things perfectly described. But then you've got the other elves that are just kind of like the other Eldar, like they're kind of like the spacefaring ones. They're just kind of assholes. They saw where the dark people were going and they were like, yeah, we're out. But they're selfish assholes. And then you've got these other ones that if you're into like, I don't know, like, well, honestly, the Joker, Harley Quinn, anything like that, there's a whole nother section of the elves that their only existence is to show up, murder chaos, and leave. They literally don't care about anything else. So technically they're good guys. But yeah, so like it's so expansive. There's so much depth to it. Like I can't help but geek out over some time of it. And now I found comic books. So now I'm like, okay, you really make me happy.
Like I think one of the best factions to introduce anyone to with Warhammer is the orcs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the orcs are a bit of fun-loving, just kind of knuckleheads that are just out there to murder and torture people.
So
I've been hearing good things about the rats, though.
The who?
Oh, that's the fantasy. The Skaven.
The rats. Yeah. That's Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah, that's what, Sigmar, Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah. There's no such thing as good guys in Warhammer. That doesn't really exist. It's just gradual shades of gray down to extremely versions of dark evilness. You do have some guys that are like legitimately good people, and they always try to do what's right. But like overall, there really aren't a faction that you'll find that are generally good people. There's some of them that do really good things and take really good care of humanity, but at the exact same times, they'll do some screwed up stuff to accomplish their goals. So you're kind of, you kind of get what you get.
Okay. No, dude.
But yeah, that's my geeking out and nerding out on some really hot, like badass nuns with guns on wheels. So.
Awesome. All right. No, perfect. Thank you. All right. So Wakazashi, I see your comment here. It says, are you excited for the new Conan series from Titans? It's looking good. Yes, I am excited. Me and Caster just talked about it briefly. We are definitely going to be checking that when it comes out in July. If you want to join us and talk about it, or if you want to collaborate for videos, just let me know, man. I definitely want to talk about this Conan series. It's looking like it's going to be something fun and something that's going to be brutal as well. So I, my friend, am ready. And for the next 15 minutes, we're going to let our friend Jason Sandberg have the floor so he can promote his updates and
Actually,
his new perks. What do you got?
I gotta bounce.
You got to bounce. Everything all right?
Yeah, I need to talk with my brother, and
Okay.
I have someone who wants me to hop on their stream as well. So I had to bounce at some point, but
Okay.
sorry about that, guys.
All right, buddy.
You're good, man.
It's good to see you.
All right, Caster. Good to see you, man.
Thanks for the thumbnail.
Take care, bro.
Thanks for
All
getting out
right.
with me on Warhammer, Ironcaster.
Real quick before I do head out though,
Yeah.
let me
plug whatever you got.
let me just show off for the preview for next week for the cover.
All right.
Oh, it looks so good.
So yeah, folks, all 20 of you in the chat, thank you for being
you go.
here.
Love
That's
it.
what's coming next week. What we're going to be talking about. So we want you to come. ... Next
Won't
week.
you come?
All right, Caster. And there, I was going to say have a good night, but all right, Mr. Sandberg.
Hey, dude.
You guys have the best taste. That Teen Titans X-Men crossover, not only is it a good story, like it serves Darkseid and the Dark Phoenix really well as a story. It's got Walt Simonson art. It's just beautiful. So those of you that haven't read it yet, you better go check it out so you're ready for next Friday. But that was a gem back in the day. Everybody loved that one.
Terry Austin inking it.
Yep, absolutely.
So Jason, you've hit 5K.
I am here.
Congratulations.
Yes.
By the way, I just want to acknowledge that, face to face. You did in 1 month, so everyone gets the free membership card. But now it seems like you've advanced, and we want to see what the advancements now. So why don't you tell us about what has changed in the last week?
Yeah. So the good news is Jupiter hit 5K. That was the first stretch goal. Woo! So everybody who backs Jupiter is going to get the Captain Kleinbottle fan club membership card, which I will remind you is a 24-point PVC laminated card. And Captain Kleinbottle is the Jack Kirby inspired character that's part of the Jupiter comic book. So again, he's my main character is on the front cover. He's on the variant cover, which is on the back. So everybody, if you backed, you're getting this beauty right here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Something for you to have in your wallet as a little memento. Now, the reason why I asked Nick to let me on is to bring you a late-breaking new update. There's a new stretch goal. The stretch goal is $8,000. If the campaign hits $8,000 on Indiegogo and Kickstarter combined, and we've got 16 days on Indiegogo, 28 days on Kickstarter, so there's plenty of time, right? If we hit 8,000, you all the backers will get an official, authorized Legion of Memers license to meme. Cool. License to meme. And I have
didn't realize you got those done already.
I have faith. I have faith in me. I have faith in you out there. So I've already produced them. I put the money into these, right? They're right here, right?
Right.
All right. So what this is the Legion of Memers. I quoted with them. This is official sanctioned Legion of Memers license to meme. So, as you know, Russia and China clearly are against the First Amendment and so forth for their people. We all know that. We all see that. But you may also be aware that recently a young man who was making fun of Hillary Clinton with a meme, he's been convicted of a crime. We are entering a dark chapter here in terms of the First Amendment. Yeah. It is very important that in the coming meme wars, and when you hit a meme checkpoint or you're attacked by the meme police, you're able to have this in your wallet, your purse, even your fanny pack. I'm not going to judge. It is very important you have this official license to meme. You can pull it out and say, hey, listen, I'm a free person. I can make fun of authority figures. It's all good. Now, if we hit 8,000, in addition to a beautifully illustrated 40-page epic comic book, you're going to get the license to meme. There's more. All right. Now, I've shown you the front of the card here, the people in the chat here. I'm going to turn this around and show you what's on the back side. Comics division. Now, Nick, what's that right there? What's that little logo right there?
Oh, that's my avatar there.
That's right. So, the day I launched Jupiter, I was on the Comics Division show, and I was humbled and honored. And it was wonderful. And again, one of the great things about Comics Division is he's wanting to talk more about comics, right, versus pop culture and politics. So I felt really honored that I was probably one of the first, or it was kind of rare for him to have a comic book creator on the Comics Division. So I wanted to celebrate my sentimental attachment to him and you and Culture Casino and Toxic Man Flu. So I wanted to do something to tie in. So on the one side, you've got the License to Meme, and on the back side, you've got a little reminder that the world needs Comics Division. Needs Comics Division for that breath of fresh air where chaps can get together and talk about the world, talk about politics, and then celebrate good comics and point out when comics aren't doing too well, right? So I want everybody to have this, and in order to do that, we need to get Jupiter to $8,000 on Indiegogo and Kickstarter combined. So please take time, go look at the trailer, go check out the campaign. Take a look, and I'm sure there's going to be something in here that you didn't even know you're missing. So please take a look, and I can't begin to tell you how humbled and amazed I am at the show of support, because again, to a lot of people, I am a new creator, and I'm having a tremendous amount of fun connecting with people and making new friends and getting people to put their eyes on Jupiter, and I'm quite honored. So thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everybody, for letting me on here to kind of give people this update. And please, when time allows, check out the campaign.
No, Jason,
Absolutely,
glad
man.
to have you back on. I cannot wait to have you on for episode 100. Congratulations on your success. I am so stoked to see you move up to the next level with this. You're going to go all the way with this, my friend. I know you're going to do it. There's no doubt in my mind, as the critical drinker likes to say, believe that.
We've got time, and and then believe me, issue 2 will be coming out and thereafter. So we'll keep this train going. And thank you everybody who's jumping on for this first part of the trip.
All right,
See
my
you Monday night,
friend.
buddy.
Cool.
Thank you
See you
very
Monday night,
much,
Jason.
sir. All right.
Take care. Thank you.
Good to
All right, man.
see you, Jason, and welcome, Pablo.
Howdy ho! Hey, I wanted to be here for a few minutes. I got the Rona. So
Rona. Oh
Yep.
no.
I have been really sick this week, and that sucks
I'm
because
Sorry,
I
man.
I had a plan for this week to work my ass off to get everything done. So on the launch of Zelda, I could take my vacations, and I was sending an email saying, Thursday 11 p.m. I'm out, and you cannot contact me until Wednesday. Instead, I spent week 6, so I haven't done barely anything at all. So that sucks, but I'm playing Zelda nonetheless. So
Well, good.
screw you, Rona. You won't take Zelda from me.
Hey, guess what? I blame
Here.
China for that. All right, China.
Indeed.
Good. All right, it's not your fault. It's not the wonderful people. It's those crazy people in the suits in the office there. They're just really crazy and stuff.
Oh, dude, I saw the Town Hall the other day. That was killer.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. It's a little too political for the show, but yes, I do agree with you. It
Mhm.
was quite the show. It was. I do agree with you. It was like watching WWF Attitude Era, but in politics. That's what it reminded me.
Yep.
It's like, man, he's making the Attitude Era great again, but with politics. I feel like he seriously watches promos from the Attitude Era and then he goes up and does his thing.
Will not surprise me.
All right, so we are almost 50 minutes into the show. We're having fun. We're having a great time. We've hammered through a lot, and we've got a lot more within the next hour and 10, maybe a little bit more. We'll see, but probably hour and 10. But right now, I just want to acknowledge all the amazing faces here in the chat. There's been a lot of people here. Thank you. It's been an awesome crowd. And let's highlight the entire panel because this is to what, 97 episodes now? 97 episodes of the Comic Shop Talk. So if you got them, all 20 of you in the chat, please drink them. And if you're straight edge, that's fine too. We're just happy for your support, your time. Let's have some fun for the next hour and 10. Even though we've already been doing that for 50 minutes now. Cheers, beers, salutes to you wherever, whenever. Shout out to Dad Man.
Salud.
Ooh. What's up, Captain James P. Skywalker? Nice to see you here as well, along with Dad Man. All right, so Adega Outlaw, sir. So
you're going to pick on me now.
No, the day of reckoning is officially real. So obviously, like I've seen you around the streams for some bit. You know, I've known who you are. You probably have seen, oh, that Nick guy exists. He breeds, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your stuff.
And then you know, we eventually one day crossed the streams, and then I heard that you did a book. I'm thinking, okay, I want to pay attention to what this guy is doing, because we've been very, very vocal on the Comic Shop Talk, on a lot of my videos, about what people like guys like Jason Sandberg before you are doing with the whole Iron Age or Iron Age adjacent, depending on which one you slant towards, with people putting out their own independent stuff and really committing to it. So I want to ask you, because I'm going to come from the normie perspective here. How long have you been making stories, and was it a recent thing? Was it always something, or was it because of getting sick and tired of recent pop culture? What is your True Hollywood story on all this?
It's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. Some of you guys know I got sick. I'm a doctor, which reminds me, Geek up there above me, who's got the virus that we don't speak of. Doctor's orders. I had to retire because of my health. I've got something that I can't get rid of, and eventually it's going to take me out. But I've made 13 years, so screw the medical profession and do it my way. When you're sick, vitamin D3, zinc, they tell you it doesn't work. It does work. And vitamin C. D3, zinc, and C. Just go nuts on that stuff. Get up and walk. Don't do the bed rest or any of that crap. I mean, stop to play your Zelda, but get up and move around. Now, for me, when I retired, it gave me time to write, and I don't do comics, except I'll show you something. I've been writing. I've got 6 books out, actually, and I have a lot of fans in various different realms. Let's see if it's in here. Like each one of my books, there will be some comic artist where I highlight where they've done fan art, and I put it in. This was done in half an hour by, you know what? I can care less what you guys think about different people. I just like art. That was George Peter Getsis. I have, this was the first book. This is called Evolution. And it's a sci-fi series. I have 4 of those books out. 5th one's just about ready to come out. But I wrote a fantasy book, and this is where things started to take off. And I decided, yeah, what the heck? I'm just going to stick it out there, see what people think in the publishing business. And there's Tina. Tina's awesome. One of the people that I know. And I had publishing companies fighting over it. I was getting offers from different companies.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
to have.
That was there's a different cover if you see it on Amazon, but this is the cover that comes out now. And let's see, I do have an artist in here who did The Sword of Torn. That's by Vinny.
Vinny Tartamello?
Yep,
Nice.
He did that one. I have stuff from Xavius. They're just different people. They've contributed. I'll show you the Xavius one. It's one of my favorites. This is the book that recently came out. It's the first book in that series. The book that I showed you before with the Vinny, that's basically I started with the 4th book. And it depends on whether it's Barnes & Noble or Amazon on how these images turn out. But this is a mage that Xavius did.
Oh,
That's
nice.
beautiful.
So,
Good,
you know,
yeah.
I guess there's a touch of comics in there, but people like my stuff. And I started running with different crowds and getting to meet all, you know, I mentioned when we first got on, you know, Patricia Tallman and various things. And then I made friends with Joe Malazzi. And I don't, if you guys don't know who he is, he's the Stargate guy.
Ooh,
Dark Matter,
nice.
Stargate SG-1, starting at season 4, Stargate Universe, Stargate Atlantis. More recently, he did Utopia Falls. He's working on a few things right now. And he got a hold of it, you know, and you can go to my channel. It's one of the interviews that I did. And every once in a while, I throw out a commercial. But he'll tell you, he gives very few reviews, and most of the time they're terrible, and he loves my stuff. So I've had some really big people that
Wow.
so yeah, these aren't comics, these are novellas or novels. And so I have the sci-fi. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I'm just rattling.
No. I'm asking. I'm at because I want to know. So, because usually novellas are usually around anywhere between 100 and 200 pages.
Somewhere around
so
there,
is it short? So is it a short story like those? Because those are obviously stories you can blaze through. Now,
No, they're not short stories, and they're long novellas. Like this one is, it looks small, but this is over 300 pages. The
wow.
Oganza, the
That's
first
still not
one.
bad.
Yeah. The actual Blood Witch, the first one I show you, I can't remember how many that is. And the one that's going to be coming out in a couple months, it's in that series, will be similar, 400 or 500 pages. And it's small print. I used to do them in big print. I had some the first run books that came out. They were quite large, with more art. Some of my own sketches that I did to represent things from, you know, spaceships or what have you. You can't get those anymore. I wanted to make things. I learned from you guys in the comic business. You know, if you're going to put something out, someone grabs it first off, they need some type of promotion, some type of bonus, you know, where they could feel blessed because they got on the bandwagon first. So some of these older books, they're larger, they have more artwork in it, they have anecdotes, you know, various different things. But it's been going well. It's on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble. Each one's a little different depending on where you get it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just having a blast, and I'm
What's
very.
your most recent book? Which one's your most recent one? Is it Evolution?
No, it's this one with the fantasy. The fantasy one starts off. It's
Blood Witch?
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
The Blood Witch.
I want to plug it in I'm gonna plug it in the chat so people know. So, okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. That was the one that the publishing companies fought over, and I had to walk away. Interesting story. You guys know how modern audience things are, and I was working with a publisher. Love the owners of the publishing company. They're great, wonderful people. They had terrible editors. To give you an idea, they don't like the hero's journey. In the Blood Witch, that particular Blood Witch, it was a girl. She had to know everything right at the beginning. All the guys had to be perverts. And things like, and this shows their mentality. I had written about some castle ruins in one area, and they chewed me out saying the people would have pulled those down and used them to rebuild other things. And I had to tell them, so why don't you go visit Ireland or England and look at the stuff, the ruins that are still there that they didn't tear down. Another one had said, you know, they were looking at an army that was at such a distance. She says, you can't see over 3 miles because of the curvature of the earth. And I slapped my forehead. Yeah, no, this is in the business. This is in the business.
Like, no, those are the exact same kind of people that run all of modern entertainment. That's the exact kind of person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. One of the ones that really got me, and I loved picking on her about this, because there was a couple of them that were working on it, and they're all the same mentality. One of them quit because I won't give you the reason, but it was hilarious. But they sent me this note saying that people cannot march 40 miles in a day. I sent her a note back saying the British Army in full gear march 20 miles in 5 hours. This is carrying 80 pounds a pack. And I gave it a note and I said, you guys are full of crap. And so the publisher said, just write it, just get it done. Or it was already finished. They said, just clean it up and we'll ignore them. But some things happened with that publishing company. They had me a really good deal. But I figured, you know what? Brandon Sanderson, if you guys know who this guy is, he said, if he had to do it all over again, he would do it on his own. Who am I to argue with someone as much success as him? So I'm doing it on my own, and it's working. So you guys want stories, a sci-fi series? It spans a period. Well, the first one, it goes for 300 years. It's one character, and there's a reason why they live that long. And then it spans 50 years, but the whole story, bits and pieces, covers millions of years. It's about some stuff that happened to humanity, and it would fit in. It's something that like a breakaway civilization. Some of the dark stuff that you hear about in our world, it ties in. So you'll see where things fit in. The fantasy one is it covers a span of 2,000 years. And each book is about every 200 to 400 years separate from each other. They all tie in. It's based on one family that has a bloodline. And like I said, people just love it. I have never heard anyone give me bad time about it except for those editors, because they wanted to, you're a guy, you shouldn't be writing. You need to be a young, alternate lifestyle female. And you're the one that we should have hired, not you. And it's like, screw you. Right. Screw you.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay. So obviously you have been you said, there was a little bit of all of the above, and you say you were always kind of into the idea of writing. What was the thing that, I guess I could say, the straw that broke the camel's back, and you're saying, okay, I need to start doing it? Like, was it always something? What was the thing that did it? Was it something good, something bad? What was
No, it was bad. Thing? It was because of my health. And, I've got, a lot of people know, I've got a form of cancer. Most people die within 2 to 7 years. I'm on year 13. I'm breaking the records because I don't do what the medical doctor tells you. I'm a doctor, but I'm a chiropractor, and we do things differently. And you could obviously tell I'm living longer than what they say you're supposed to. But I sat at home, and I'm not supposed to lift because it's a bone cancer. Things break in me all the time. I'm 2 inches shorter than I used to be. It's things like that. But my wife slapped me upside the head and said, you got to do something. And I had been mulling over some things in my mind about doing so I started writing. And when I started writing, I took people that I knew, because I was in practice for 25 years, known a lot of people, heard a ton of different stories, seen all kinds of bizarre things. And I figured I'll take these people, their personalities, and stick them into fictional situations. So when you read a book and you see someone's personality, it isn't something I had imagined up. People really would act this way in these situations, So that's what set it off. It was my health. I needed something to do because it's difficult to do things above my head. I can't lift, can't work on cars, various different things like that. And for some reason, God gave me a gift to be able to write. And like I said, people love it. You hear a lot of people that get on these Amazon or, Barnes and Noble, they don't make any money. I'm actually making money, and I don't keep it. I put it in a bank account and I give it to my kids. They need something for school. There you go. So I don't need it. And it's a legacy for them. So that's how it works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Go ahead, Pablo.
You are in the right attitude, and trust me, it's really hard. Taking that step is really hard. Thinking about a future. I know I have a cyst on the cerebellum. I was supposed to die a few years ago, and still here, so fuck it. And yeah, there's a moment when you need just to say fuck it. What
there you
the
go.
hell? Yeah, should I remember I had to clean shave my head and everything in case they needed to do an operation. No, I have full head of hair because why I waiting for death when you can do anything with the time left, and what you are doing is exactly that. I respect it a lot.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
crazy
No,
man.
and you too. Just don't surrender. You just don't surrender.
Exactly.
I had a,
Exactly.
like I said, there was a editing team, and they were trying to make me to surrender their wishes. And I said, yeah. And some of you guys know Loki. He's a friend of mine, real good friend. We're basically family. And when I was going through this, it was really stressful because I started to second guess about my writing ability, and then I started seeing the absurdity of it. And I started talking to him, and he says, "You know what? They came to you. You can walk away." And I thought, yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's nice to have a support team too, and it was cool. It was really cool. So I'm happy. I'm very happy, and I'm happy to be able to share it with you guys. You guys are the comic guys, but we're all into creativity. We're all into great minds, whether it be arts, and like I said, I got art in each one of my books, or whether it be the written art instead of the drawing and paints and that such things that I can't do. But in the world where we have, sorry, I'm going to preach a little bit. In a world where we
go
have
on,
so
man.
much,
Floor's yours.
you think about it. When you got mediocrity being sold to us, and sometimes even less, the next generation doesn't know what to reach for. So in
you don't give
15
it the
years,
imagination to aim high for, because you're reducing everyone to only imagine themselves and not to imagine anything outside of themselves.
right. So in 15 years, their mediocrity is going to be less than what we have now. And the people get dumber and appreciate less and less sophistication. The art that you guys celebrate, the stuff that I try and put out, has to be celebrated and has to be pushed, like the gentleman you had on just before, because greatness needs to be a standard, not mediocrity. It has to be something that people can reach for and a goal, saying that person did it, and the next people can be taught, let's go a little bit higher, because I want the next generation to write better than I do.
Oh yeah.
I want the next painting to be better than the last one. It's about making humanity better as a whole. So that's my
I
philosophy.
love that, because I strongly agree with that approach, because like I want because obviously, like, I'm a dad as well, and I want my children and people along their lines to do even better than what we're doing, and I want them now, because here's the thing: when you set the bar low, then when people settle for that bar, then someone ends up just moving the needle to lower, and they just continue to move it lower and lower and lower. Like, no, we gotta go the other way, dude. We don't want to keep going lower and lower and lower, because when you lower and then people start to get numb to it and they start selling for it because they're desensitized, then they just start selling for that low expectation. And by the time you settle in with that low expectation, whoever is the ones making the content, the media, they lower it again, and they expect you to adjust your expectations again, even lower than what was low before. And I see them as like, we don't need that. No, we can't do this. And that's why I'm glad, whether it's guys like you or Jason Sandberg or Eric July or Razorfist, Critical Drinker, you guys are saying, you know what? I see what's going on. It's enough complaining. There's a time and place for it, but we gotta handle this ourselves, because these are guys who have all realized these things are not going to go back to what they once were. And they've come to, you along with them, have come to grips with that and say, you know what, we can do this ourselves. And you know what, that's what's great about this to me is, yes, there is that bit of uncertainty because it's not familiar, but a lot of people also forget there was a point in time they didn't know what a Conan was or what a Star Wars was. There was a once upon a time they didn't know what Batman was. There was a time in life where we know those things, and there was a time where all of that was unfamiliar. So obviously now we're comfortable and we're established with that, but those were things we didn't recognize at some point. I think a lot have forgotten that. So, and I think now is that time to say, hey, this is the first of this. And even if it's not guys, let's just pretend somehow it's not like guys that like you or Drinker that don't go all the way. Hopefully, at the minimum, you can pave the way for someone else to go all the way. If it's not you that doesn't, someone else can, because maybe they saw inspiration from what you were doing. Like, I want everyone who who wants to be great to be absolutely great at the highest level possible. I
Right.
want people to
And
see. Well, I was
just
going to say,
just another thought too. It's going
go
along
ahead,
with what
go
you were
ahead,
saying
go
because
ahead, go ahead.
a lot of in our circles, other circles, similar type of people, whether it be any form of the pop culture, they're mourning in deep sorrow of things that have been corrupted, whether it be the various different comic book heroes, DC, Marvel, whether it be Star Wars, Star Trek. I know Clobby is just adamant that Star Trek has been killed, and I kind of agree with you. For the
Totally
most
did.
part, I agree with you. Um,
Stone
which
dead.
means, which means, once upon a time, and it's like what you were saying, way back when, those didn't exist. It was something that was created and celebrated. We can celebrate the old, never forget what was good, build something new. If the clowns want to play in the old sandbox, let's move to a bigger one and make bigger sandcastles. And it's I can guarantee you everything I've written is better than what's out there because of the people who told me. And I used to have, there's something, and I know some of you would know this too. There's something that's called, let me get the right phrase, imposter syndrome, where you have success and you're kind of afraid of it because you don't believe it. You don't think you deserve it. It's I've seen it in other people, whether they be, especially artists, but writers, different things. And I was that way. I was constantly looking for somebody to criticize my stuff because it couldn't be real that no one didn't like my stuff. And then I got in, like I said, with Joe Malazzi and a few other people where they read it and they said, yeah, this is fantastic, where I actually believe it. And that's why I will tell you, is because other people have told me if they made movies of my stuff the way it was written, you guys would have a whole new fandom of sci-fi or fantasy. I didn't even mention that I have a side one, which is kind of a superhero origin story, but it's written very deep science, kind of fantasy. And I've had a few people tell me it's the best story they've ever read, best story ever written, and that'll hopefully be published in 6 months or so. My artist, I had a fan who gave me a image that came up in their mind. I'm going to use it as part of the cover art, but it's dealing with two different universes. So one is done by my artist and the other one is done by her on the opposite sides. So it's the two universes coming together. It's a pretty cool story. But either way, the whole point is every one of you in here appreciate the fantastic and don't be afraid to mourn what has gone on. And don't struggle to keep something alive that is dead. Don't be beating a dead horse. You saw earlier a gentleman who's bringing you a new comic and he's reaching goals. Support these people. Build our new culture and build it better than what it was before.
I strongly agree. I want that. Like, I love what came before. And I always will, and it's always gonna have a major place in my heart. And I'm always gonna do retrospectives on it. And there's a time and place to go on about what's going on, but it's going to be even better if we can put up the fight to challenge this corruptedness and replace them.
Right.
I'd rather, it's nice to put up a fight now, and I'd rather we go down trying than not trying at all. And that's why I like bringing guys like you on and Jason Sandberg, because I want to really put this stuff out there. Like I don't know if you know Ginger Ninja. I had him on a few months ago. I had Gabe El Taib on, the colors from the Rippaverse, when he was promoting his Truth, Justice, American Way book. I had him on as well. I'm always trying to, make sure I can help get these names out there so people could be aware, because it's got to start somewhere. And like I say, even if we aren't the ones that go all the way, we're at least laying the groundwork for it. At the very minimum, we're laying the groundwork. And someone's going to get inspired by that. It may happen tomorrow. It may be 5 or 10 years down the road. But someone's going to see that, and they're going to take it to the next level. And hey, it'll be great if it's one of you guys. One of us, awesome. But if not, I'm happy with the legacy that we're starting to set up for ourselves. And I'm really proud to see what you're doing with that. Now, I want to move on to I guess, the more obvious normie question. What were the things that really influenced these stories? And did you always have this writing ability in you, or did you have to really learn the craft first and then you were able to write? Like how did that work?
This is what a lot of authors hate me over. Because, and it's part of the reason why I had imposter syndrome. I once upon a time, before I was a chiropractor, I was a musician, a pro. This is the last bit of my horns. I had to sell them to get through school as a chiropractor. I was a really good chiropractor, got rid of that. And then I started writing and putting these people that I knew into stories, and it came natural. I didn't have to work very hard at it. And there's a lot of people, they come to me and they'll ask, well, how do you do this? How do you do your outlines and this and that? And like Script Doctor the other day, I was in modding one of his chats and someone was asking me a bunch of questions and said, it's in here. I don't have to do an outline. I never have. And Script got it and he says, that's a rare gift. He says, appreciate it. He says he was able to do it once, but most authors can't do it. And it pisses them off. Because for some reason, I have a shortcut, a cheat mode. So it just comes out, and I'm very lucky, very fortunate. So no, it wasn't anything that I had to work on. The only thing I have trouble with is homonyms and spelling. Good thing we got good. I've run my stuff through both Google and Word, and they'll both pick up different things. Yeah, but it was things like when I was writing the sci-fi book, rain. Well, you got rain. It's a rainy society that they're in. It rains about half the time. They have kings that reign. They have reigns on horses. Each one is spelled different. And for me, mixing between a reign of a king and a reign of a horse, I get it wrong every time. So I have to go and fix all of that. That's where I have my biggest trouble. But when it comes to sentence structure, you can just go listen to some of the interviews of people that on my channel, if you want to, of people that have read my stuff. I have a commercial out that I put out every once in a while, just sound bites of different people that have read my stuff. And again, I have not had anyone say anything bad. Everyone loves my stuff. So I'm blessed. I can't take pride in it. It was a gift. It wasn't something that I can pat myself on the back for. I'm lucky.
Okay.
From hearing all of this,
go ahead.
May I?
Go ahead, Common. Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, from hearing all of this so far and been listening and everything else and just kind of nodding along with this whole situation between the gifts that you've been blessed with and your whole situation, it sounds like you ended up exactly where you were supposed to be. And it sounds like that. Because I'm super excited to read these books. I can't wait to hear it. And from, I don't doubt any of the things you're saying, which is one of the reasons why I'm super excited about reading them. And after your experiences within the industry and telling us all of that and being able to put that out there, it's like, God works in mysterious ways, boys and girls. So,
yeah. What are you interested in? Maybe I could point you in the right direction. So when you're ready to get it, because I'm not asking you to go out. I never ask anybody to buy it. It's just, it's if you're interested, go get it. You'll be happy. I guarantee it. But fantasy or sci-fi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me put it this way. Something that starts off not like Harry Potter, but turns into blood, guts, and horror, or a sci-fi that is epic. They have a category for epic or space opera. Which would you prefer first?
Well, I'm on kind of a Warhammer kick right now, so I kind of like the epic that turns into a blood and guts mess.
Okay.
Or not the epic, but
go to Barnes and Noble, and this one will give. It's Blood Witch History, Olganza, or the Blood Witch. Either one. They can stand alone, but that's the beginning of the story.
Here, I'm gonna post it again in the private chat, and then of course in the public chat as well, guys. Blood Witch. That's your newest one, right, Adega?
The Olganza, yeah. Basically, what that is, it's set 400 years after an apocalypse caused by a mage, and this family they're good people. a son of a good guy. They overcome some bad kingdoms, but they're struggling. There's people after them, other nations. They're having starvation issues, various different things. But he has the advantage, this king has the advantage of having 3 mages that work with him. 4 at one point. One of them was jealous because he married the one woman out of the 4, killed one of the other mages, set a curse on the king. The king dies. The woman, before the king dies, used some of her magic to make sure that they had kids. The kids is where the blood witches come from. Any of them that are born without, they have a strong family trait of having red hair. If they don't have red hair, they become a blood witch. And basically, the mild thing is what the family thinks of as a blood witch is if someone is alive and bleeding and they touch the blood, it turns to gold. So these people are extremely wealthy, whether or not they have food, but all these other nations are jealous about it. And it's fledgling. It's after an apocalypse that happened 400 years. So they have everybody after them, but there's more to it than just that. When it's a series of discoveries, when they get it in their mouth, they become something else, something horrific and extremely powerful. And that's when the blood and the horror starts setting in. But that carries on in lineage. The family never grows very large. It's part of the curse. They always stay just a handful of people here and there. And they try and forget with each successive generation. They don't want people to know of their abilities because they would be hunted by other nations for the ability to create gold or what have you, the sheer power that they have. But with the magic system, there's 3 different aspects of it. And this is the one woman who started it off. She is a healer mage, which is extremely rare out of all the history of thousands and thousands of years. There's been 3, and 2 of them turned. It takes a very specific, very giving mind, someone who is willing to sacrifice themselves for someone they don't know and be happy to do it without any recognition in the quiet of the night. Just one, and that was her. Then there's the nature callers. They basically were the ones that can control elemental type things. And it's limited. There are limits on it where if they do 3 major acts, they go into a mage sleep. They're going to be out for weeks at a time. And then the third one, which is I have art symbols for each. On the cover of this one is a symbol of what's called a death wind. They are, or were, let me fix my camera. That's what my hand's doing. They were the most powerful out of all of the different forms of magic users. And that's one of the ones that caused an apocalypse. They thrive and gain power off of murder and mayhem and suffering. Until the blood witches come along. And that balances out the power. So that's what you're going to get into.
Hell yeah, that sounds dope. I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Wow. Hot damn, dude. I like it, man. No, I'm so happy for you that you're doing all this. You're leaving a legacy, but you're also telling stories. You're paving the way for something that obviously is a legacy for your family, but also a story that your stories. I gotta correct myself here. And it sounds like people are
there's 6
enjoying
out
it
right now.
They're enjoying it. They are invested. You have a following for it, and it seems like it's a loyal following on top of that. That's gotta be an even better feeling because it's one thing when you have someone check out a book, but it's even better and way cooler when you have repeat customers. Because you realize, okay, these people are invested. They really are. They're into this, and I had to now deliver that much more because they're invested. Do you thrive off of that pressure when you see that there's an invested audience? So is it what's that like for you knowing that there's that invested audience, or is it just another day in business? What's that feeling like for you? That's something else.
It's flattery for the most part. For the most part, which reminds me, because the next book that comes out, it's going to have a June Wong art that he made. Just decided, hey, I want to make something for you. he's the guy who I don't know if you know June Wong by name. He used to be Siamese mother or Mother Siamese Chicken. He's the one who's doing Clownfish TV's book, that new one that they're advertising. That's his art. But he did a sci-fi. It's a black and white one. Let me see if I could find it. You know what? I'll just show you my screen. It's my screensaver.
Share the screen, man. Share the screen.
Well, I'm very bad at this. So let me see.
Take your time. And what's up, Jim Donegan and Hojo, which I will be having a one-on-one with Hojo next Thursday afternoon.
Woohoo!
Him and I face-to-face, one-on-one. And Pablo, you said you gotta go real quick. Well, Adega's getting his situation. Pablo, go ahead and lay out your thoughts, my friend.
Dude, first of all, crazy good mythology you are building. I love that. I actually want to know if, well, I don't want spoilers, but if there's anything else within the Blood Witches and what's going on there, I have an idea about that. Dude, it has been awesome hearing you, and sorry for not being able to stay longer. I want to know more about the apocalypse. You kind of remind me of an anime called Shin Sekai Yori, that is basically, humanity gets powers in current day, and basically they start the apocalypse, killed everyone, and humanity goes back to zero. It starts from zero, but having powers goes really crazy. There's also another mutation of humanity. So yeah, I kind of connected what you were saying with that story, and now I want to to watch it even on an animation form, because that will be really dope, seeing the powers being used on an animation. But sorry, I'm really low energy, so I will be jumping off.
Go take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Pablo, we'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. Okay. All right.
Be good, buddy.
Bye.
All right, Adega, show off the goods, and then.
All right, let me see if I can do this again. I share screen.
You got this.
I gotta hide this because
ooh,
that's June Wan's art.
That's
ship.
Oh, that's dope.
That ship there, you can't see all the details, and it's not exactly book accurate, but there's like little. I'm colorblind, so I can't see the colors, but I know there's little red, which is significant. There's supposed to be some other little things in it, but how can I argue when someone gives you this?
You don't.
And just like, thank you, and then I send them some cash.
Yeah,
man, you work hard. I gotta give you something for that.
Oh yeah,
man,
I can't wait. I'm really super excited. I've got your one set and ready to go as soon as I have the chance. So I cannot wait to read it. I'm super excited about this.
Again, I'm very flattered. Very flattered.
Nope. So I've got the Kindle already. I'm going to get the hardcover next because that artwork is gorgeous. I have to have that in my hands. So,
awesome. Well, let me tell you, if you go to Amazon, the artwork is larger and fills the page better.
Okay.
But so Amazon does not ship the books in good quality or good care. More often than not, they're going to have a little bit of warp to them. They don't package them very well at all. If you get it from Barnes and Noble, and I did it so you could distinguish them. I like theirs better, but they're smaller. It's a 6x9 instead of a 7x10. But the images inside are smaller on the page. Why it doesn't fill, I don't know. I did everything I could to make it match. They give you parameters. You could still see it. The book is a better quality, but the images are smaller percentage-wise, not just because it's a smaller book. So it's just one or the other, whichever you prefer. But yeah, it's good.
It sounds like it just I have to get one to read and one for you to sign. Then the one that's going to come nicely, and then the one that I can read and I can let my kids read and I can stick on the wall back here, and like all of that kind of stuff. So this isn't a rocket science problem here. Now, come on. I mean, I'm really bad about that kind of stuff too.
I think one of the biggest flattering things was, Mexican Iron Man. He was telling me he got it, and his kid read it, and he says one day he caught his kid and he was building Legos of the ships from my book. I'm just going, how cool is that?
Nice. Impressive, yeah. Wow.
Dude.
Yep. So that was a very flattering day.
Man. That's
that is huge. Yeah, that'll make you feel good.
Incredible.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Wow. Okay. So I guess
thank you for the time too.
No, dude, thank you. Before we transition on over to what Kalabi has been reading, I want to ask you two final things. One, like I think you leaned into a little bit earlier. Your next story. When's it going to be out? A, and B, is it going to be in line with what you got going on? Is it going to be its own entire thing? Like, is there anything you can give out now about it?
Oh yeah, sure.
To get an idea.
It was on my YouTube channel. Everything that is in the book form has all been on my YouTube channel, but I pull them off and then, get the copyright done. Because if it's on YouTube, it's secure for the most part. I have my watermark and everything. When I pull it off, then I go through a set of just the Writers Guild. I get the copyright and everything done. So this one people have seen before. And I had some people that said, let me have private access because I still want to see it. So, but it's part of the sci-fi series. It's 50 years after the main events. And let me see if I could, I wish I could share screen because the artwork is almost done. Nah, you know what? I better save that. I'm going to do a big reveal of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll give you an idea. Each one has something a little different. Like in Evolution, you see the eye, but that little white ring around the pupil is significant in the books.
I see that, yeah.
The second book is not human at all.
Oh.
And that's Revolution.
Right, the contrast. Evolution, Revolution, and they get the human to the what, android, I guess?
The droid, yeah. Uh-huh. And then the third one is an alien eye. Mm-hmm. Because it gets pretty epic. It gets intergalactic, and humanity's about ready to be wiped out because these people are big bads. But the fourth one is going back to the human, except the evolution is a little more intense, where the skin's glowing, the eyes are glowing more. Part of evolution in the book is, and see, that comes from the doctor aspect of things. Everyone, I don't know if everyone knows, but there's codons in the genetic code. There's various different things that we don't know everything about. And so coming from my healthcare background, I figured, what if there was a key to unlock that, to make it actually do something? And I basically have the human race as being starved. We've never had it for a reason. But when they get a hold of it, they accelerate. The mental capacities accelerate. They become stronger. They become faster. They're still human. They just have abilities. And if you're a good human, you get a mental ability where you can tell if someone's telling the truth or not. You have like flashes of precognition. These people that have these flashes of precognition, they become fighter pilots because they know where to be a fraction of a second before they need to be there. That way they can avoid enemy fire. They can do various different things that way. There's spy network. Some of there's Marines in one of them where their ability is used because they know where everybody is. You put them in a room, they know where their buddies are. They know where the bad guys are. They know how to take them out real quick without having to tuck corners and look ceilings and everything. They just know. But the next book that's coming out, like I said, it has the glowing eye. It's 50 years afterwards. And part of the aftermath is the ancient humans. Believe it or not, there was us, and somehow we survived. But the ancient humans had made some mistakes. Mm-hmm. And it comes back to haunt. And this is correcting those mistakes. And it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Like I said, no one's ever not liked my stuff. So that's the one that'll be coming out hopefully pretty soon.
That sounds
All right.
epic. That sounds
Fucking
really
awesome,
epic. Holy
dude.
shit.
No, hey.
I don't like playing other people's sandboxes. That's why everything that I do, I limit how much I read in other people's sci-fi and fantasy, because I don't want to have people say that came from there, that came from there. No, it didn't. This
Right.
is something I've tried to make it as unique as possible.
Yeah, I noticed when you were describing certain things, there's certain slight aspects that seem familiar to you, but these are general story concepts, stuff that have been carried on forever through, like, because when you were talking about the gold and the blood, I was like, okay, Nicholas Flamel, Sorcerer's Stone, all that kind of stuff. But that's something that's been, I mean, that's something out of actual history too. That was something.
Actually, he caught me on that one, because that's the one thing where Midas. That's the one thing that I kind of pulled from something else, was Midas.
Oh, the
gold
touch. Yeah, because I just thought Philosopher's
The
Stone,
Midas
because the
touch.
Philosopher's Stone, the liquid turns everything into gold. But yeah,
No, it was Midas.
nice. Hell yeah.
All right, Adega. When that new book comes out, if you want, you're welcome to come out here, and we will gladly, if you want to do the promo tour, basically, you're welcome to come on here and do your pitch, basically. To
Thanks,
talk
Nick.
up.
You're awesome.
So
I appreciate
you
it.
are absolutely welcome if you want to. So the door is absolutely open. It'll stay unlocked. And if you ever try locking, I'm just going to get a saw and cut the doorknob off. So all I'm saying is, I'd love to have you on it as long as you're willing to. When that time
I
comes.
appreciate it very much. Thank you. I'll probably take you up on it.
Good. I look forward to it. And we'll make a good evening out of it. Believe that.
They'll be presenting, and it'll be huge.
It will be.
I'll be a little better organized with my stuff too, so you could see a little bit
good,
more of the
man.
artwork that's included and different things. So
It's a learning curve for all of us when we do this stuff. So this whole streaming thing and sharing pictures and trying to do all that kind of stuff, it's a learning curve for all of us. So.
Clobby. Captain Clobby, per se.
he fell asleep.
Is he back?
Did he? Maybe he
Oh,
did.
No,
No, there he is.
I was saving a picture. I have no excuse. I can barely move right now.
It's okay.
So,
It's
what do you
okay.
want? What do you want, Nick?
What I want?
Man,
Jesus, God, what are you disturbing me for?
brutal, right out the way.
What's up, buddy?
So
What can I do for you?
Clobby, I would like for you to enlighten the chat on things that you have been reading lately, new and or old. And if it's one or the other, it doesn't matter. You know how this game goes. We're gonna just we just want to have the chat be aware of what you have been on, so maybe they could check it out. So
I think you misunderstood me. So I was actually been thinking about learning how to read.
I've
been
oh yeah,
toying with
because
it,
you said earlier you only look at the pictures, right? Okay.
That's what he told his mom when he was young.
Somebody to read the
Actually, I'm thinking about learning how to look at the pictures too. I don't even know how to do that. I've tried like several times, and my eyes just won't hit the page right. It's just really just like, man, if you can't look at the pictures, it could be because I'm blind. Except that doesn't. No, I can see you, Nick. So I can see your shirt. I can tell you who drew all those characters. All right, no. All right. Well, anyway, I don't want. I think I'm too embarrassed to admit that I read a modern current comic book.
No, now you have to.
I don't want to
You
give
said
DC
it.
Comics an endorsement, though.
There goes that pedestal.
You know, do we want to give DC Comics any positive press or any press at all?
This is the way I look at it. This is the way I look at it. I mean, it's completely up to you, but this is the way I look at it. If we don't reward the good things that they do, then they'll just turn back to the people that they've already been turning to for the last 2 decades.
I didn't reward this one. I read it online, but anyway.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm still talking about promoting and stuff like that. Like, it's good,
Credit where credit is due. Right. Credit.
Absolutely.
But what I've been actually doing a deep dive on is I harp on it so much, Nick, that I get embarrassed by it. But it's one of the greatest comics ever written, and that only I ever even talk about it these days. But I've been going back and doing a deep dive on some Astro City, Kurt Busiek's Astro City, so I could show some of that art.
Show some images.
Well,
yes, please.
I got an image. Imagine that right here. Where are you?
Come on.
There's-
It's here.
Went a little random with these.
Oh, those look cool.
Well, Alex Russ always does every cover. He helps design the comic, although it's written by Kurt Busiek and the interiors are done by a great artist by the name of Brent Anderson, who some may know here. Who's done has been in the industry for a long time. I think his claim to fame, his most famous work was probably God Loves, Man Kills, the Marvel graphic novel, The X-Men, which has been ripped off a lot, including the super movie X-Men 2 ripped it off. So I don't know. So anyway, he's done a lot of work for both Marvel and even maybe some even for DC, mainstream over the years. But in 1995, this series started. Now this is just a random sampling. I've been reading the book since the day the first issue came out. But this was just a sample of a question of I went online. I went and just I have them all, of course, and just kind of read from different bits and pieces. It was originally a 6-issue miniseries. Which after doing this, I said, screw it. Let me go back to the beginning and start in order. Because I don't know. And by the way, when I put this on Twitter, the writer himself, Kurt Busiek, liked it. And somebody else liked it that I don't want to admit because that's really embarrassing. You would not believe, Nick, who liked the tweet when I put this out here.
Who?
I can't say it. It's too embarrassing.
Gail Simone.
No.
If I have to go to your Twitter
more
account
than
and
that,
look through every person that
You're
likes
taking
it,
forever.
Slot.
Worse than that.
Mark Wade?
Worse than that.
Jerry Conway.
No, he's not. He's pretty bad too, man. This guy is a legend of cringe. He probably invented. Cringe was somebody in the far-flung future came back in time and said, "We can't out-cringe this guy." In fact, so cringy. I'll give you a hint. A comic that he announced never got published a couple years back.
Kibblesmith.
There you go.
No.
Why that guy? I mean, by the way, no problem. I mean, he could like comics that we like.
There you
No,
go.
of course.
You know?
I have no.
It's just so weird, though. When you see we see people who like your tweets. Who cares who likes the tweets? I'm not really into that one way or the other. But when I saw Busiek does it all the time when I talk about his comic, and that's pretty cool because I love his comic, and he and I don't see eye to eye on world happenings, shall we say?
Yeah.
However, he's a great writer. He's a brilliant writer. He's done some of the most amazing, brilliant comics of all time, including, of course, where he really made his claim to fame with Marvels. I don't know if you've ever read Marvels. Have you read Marvels, Nick?
I have Alex Ross's Marvels.
Well, Busiek wrote
it. Yes. I've it's been
Alex
a while,
Ross
but yes.
For those who don't know Marvels, of course, Busiek wrote it. Ross came to his claim to fame is what really put him on the map was Marvels early in 1993, I guess. Marvels is a comic.
Why, before you go on, that's why I was confused why they named that movie with the same name. I'm like, hold up.
Oh yeah,
isn't that like an Alex Ross thing? And obviously it's not. But it just was like, you want to talk about a
Marvels?
bait and switch?
They don't. No, you think those people ever heard of that comic? They don't know. No. The Marvels came out in 1993, and it became it put both of these guys on the map in the industry anyway. It's a brilliant series where it's sort of like there's a 4-issue tour through the Marvel history from the perspective of the man on the street, in particular, a photojournalist named Phil Sheldon. Imagine living in New York where all the superheroes are just, throughout the course of starting with, the first ever superhero appearance and battle between the Submariner and the original Human Torch. And that's where he starts, and it goes through Marvel history. I don't know if you ever read it's just a beautiful book, beautifully painted. And it's great. I highly recommend that one. And he takes Astro City to a different way. Astro City is basically it's similar to that because sometimes it doesn't just deal with the superheroes. This is a superhero universe. Astro City is basically, for lack of a better term, it's a hodgepodge between Metropolis, Central City, Gotham City, so all rolled into one, or basically Marvel New York, except I think it's actually closer to the middle of the country. But it's a place where every single sort of trope or thing that has ever been appeared in pulpish superhero, fantasy, science fiction comics is there. Superhero genre, you name it. It's in all the other genres. that have appeared over, in pulps and in comics since the 20s, 30s, 40s, and superhero characters. For example, as you see, there's a character in red there. He's, for lack of a better term, they're Superman, but he's called Samaritan. But Busiek doesn't make him exactly like Superman. He's similar, but not exactly. They have Batman characters, similar Batman archetypes in there, but he's not exactly like Batman. There's an archetypes of the Fantastic Four and all the other main superheroes, and yet he differentiates them so much that they're not like carbon copies. Again, they are archetypes, and he uses them to tell the kind of stories that you can't tell in the mainstream Marvel or DC. And I don't mean deconstructionists like Watchmen, which I love Watchmen. It's not deconstructionists like that, or what Miller does with Dark Knight, or stuff like The Boys, or all these other things that are irredeemable. It's not that. They're still heroes, and they're not. It's not taking them down into the gutter like those comics. It's not trying to make them the lowest form. It's still writing them in that sense. However, what he does with this series is sometimes it'll be about from the perspective of one of the heroes, but lots of times some of these stories, some of the one-offs, are people what it's like to actually live in a city where these things are actually taking place. In other words, you can he can write a story. It can have all these goofy things you see in a superhero comic, and then you will feel real. You will feel like when you're in an Astro City story, one of the greater ones, you'll feel like you actually lived in that universe. That's how brilliant the writing is by Kurt Busiek on this series.
That's awesome.
And if you look at the cover down at the far the lower right, that is what it looks like, a cartoon lion. That story is brilliant. It's about a cartoon lion, and he comes into existence.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, Alex Ross is incredible.
I love that cover.
Beautiful cover. These are this right here is like a smattering. That, like I said, I was just feeling nostalgic about it, and then after I went and read these and a few other ones, I'm like, let me start back at the beginning again. There was initially a 6-issue miniseries in 1995. Then it started as a regular series for about 22 issues after that, and it because of deadlines and other various, he became popular, and he was writing a lot of other comics back in the 90s and 2000s when this comic was in its heyday for popularity. So it would take a long time for an issue of Astro City to come out back then. And he was writing Avengers, he was writing Thunderbolt, he was writing a bunch of different books, and he was having some health issues. And one of the funny things about the series back then is people would say, like, hey man, when's the next Astro City coming out? And he'd say stuff like, well, I'm just so much, there's only so much time, and I really think I need to take this is the comic I need most to take my time with. What he's basically saying, so you could just churn out the other ones, boop, 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 fine, but this one you need your full attention. It's basically what he was kind of saying. And it was his baby, and it wasn't making, also didn't pay like Avengers writing, writing for Marvel or DC at the time, the big ones, right? He owns this. He and Alex Ross and Brad Anderson own this property, fortunately. Anyway, then after the regular series died out, there was a number of specials, a number of some one shots, some miniseries, and then eventually in 2013 for about 52 issues. What is it with DC in that number? Because it was Wildstorm DC. It came back as a regular series. It actually kept a decent schedule. But there's no superhero comic that you've ever read, and I mean ever, quite like an Astro City story. One issue, like I said, could deal with some of their heroes. Others, just Joe Schmo in the street going back and forth to work, and how his life is affected by living in a world where there are monsters and magic and super science and superheroes and aliens and all of it. And again, his Batman is not obvious. His Spider-Man is not obvious. His Fantastic Four is not 100% obvious. They look like him in some ways, but not in others. He makes them knockoffs in a sense, or archetypes, and writes these stories on such a human level. It's I can't even begin to describe it. The very first issue of the first miniseries is about Samaritan, the guy you see there in the red at the top left. He's basically, for lack of a better term, he's Superman. It's about basically what it would really be like if you were Superman, and how it's not too spoilery. It opens up where he's flying, but he's completely like he's naked. He doesn't care. He's not a care in the world. He dreams about flying. Then we find out that he was dreaming. The rest of the issue is about one day in his life where he's running around the world so much at these extraordinary speeds that he never gets a chance to fly for fun. And so every time he actually gets to sleep for a few minutes, he actually dreams about what it would like to be able to fly. Who doesn't dream about what it's like to fly? This guy can fly, and he never is able to use it for fun. By the end of this very eventful day in that first issue, he ends up, he's like dead tired. He's gone through the ringer, all of his usual Superman duties. He thinks to himself, 50 second, something like whole day, 52 seconds of flight time, best day since March. In other words, he spends that little time in the air. He's that fast. But all of it is doing, because there's a scene, for example, where they throw this cornball bit in there where, just like in the first Superman movie when he rescues a cat from a tree. But he does that, and he says, I stopped to show them it's dark, so I stopped to show the little girl the smile, to show her it's okay. Next shot, he's saving a man from business. It almost cost a man in Boston his life. I can't stop. And he can, because the guilt would be too much if you could never have your own life. He has to hide. He can't be Clark Kent, who's on the news, or leading a life with Lois Lane or any of that stuff. It works in normal comics. And this is a guy that can do it, so he forces himself to do it. And it's just that first issue, well, just extraordinary. One of the greatest comics I've ever read. Many of the issues of Astro City, when I'm doing my top 25 all-time comic stories in a couple of months, which I'm working on now, 4 to 5 or 6 of them, or maybe 7 of them are going to be Astro City stories.
Well, you've sold me, Clobby.
That's high praise.
Like, I'm ready to read
praise.
these right now. Like, the whole
Start with the miniseries from '95 if you ever start.
Okay.
It might not be your bag, but if you start there, you'll know whether it's for you. And like I say, I love the angle of the stories. It's not always about the heroes. It's about, like I said, it will make you feel like, know what it's like to live in the Marvel or DC universe. And that's just extraordinary.
Well, when you were describing that earlier, talking about the guy having it kind of like seeing it from the perspective of a guy that lives in this world, who's just a normal human. Like, that was one of the things I used to think about when I was watching the Superman animated series back in the day. Was you'd see these giant buildings topple down, and like you'd see, these cranes go all over the place, and I'm like, and all I could ever think about was like, who's cleaning all of that up? Like, that's gonna be, how are you gonna get that train off of there? How are you gonna get that train off of there?
He does stories similar to that talks about all those kind of people too. He does, which, I mean, he makes them brilliant. He does stories about, this is a universe where anybody can end up with superpowers for some crazy reason, just like in regular Marvel or DC comics. Right. And there's one, for example, there's a young girl. Well, she's an older lady now, but she's thinking back how she got these crazy telekinetic powers. And when she's a girl, so the first thing she thought of is, well, I got to make a costume and be a superhero, right? That's what you do, isn't it? And she goes out into the public, and she tries to fight she takes forever to even run across a crime. It takes forever. When she does, she uses her power. She's pretty powerful. And she uses it to stop this criminal, and then she throws up all over. It scares the shit out of her, and she can't do it. So she flashes back later, and she said, so I guess if you can't be a superhero, I couldn't do it. I guess you got to be a villain, right? So she goes to Vegas and starts using the power on slot machines. And that makes her sick. That makes her sick too, and she can't do it. She doesn't feel right. So what her occupation is she works in movies. She uses her telekinetic powers on a special effects set.
That's pretty cool.
When she's sought out by this, as always, villains. The various types of villains are always looking for people like that to exploit. One of them goes after her and a bunch of other friends of hers. That basically, like, there's a whole bunch of people with superpowers that don't have it in them to be superheroes, and they don't want to be supervillains. They want to be left alone, and they kind of get together, and they get one of these really terrible villains who thinks he's such a badass. Gets them together and doesn't know that they band together to protect themselves. And it's just, this woman is so relatable. She's like in her 40s now. She's working as a special effects maker with her telekinetic powers. And she just has no interest in being a superhero or a villain.
That's so awesome.
Those are they have all kinds of stories like that. And it's just incredible.
Wow. Hell yeah, dude. That's a high recommendation. That's not just a recommendation. I'm going to call, I know you don't say recommend, but I don't recommend.
I just say what I like.
That to me is that was a strong endorsement. So
at least I didn't endorse a new comic. So there.
You still got to tell us what it was, though.
I'll tell you later.
Oh man, no,
I'll tell you. Do you want that going off of your airwaves?
Just
a new DC comic, man.
Just do it.
I'm embarrassed.
It's like pulling J-Man's fault. It's just like pulling a Band-Aid off. You just do it real fast.
This is J-Man's fault. He reviews some new comics. My good buddy J-Man. I think you know Nick. And we review stuff together.
Yeah,
good guy. And there's a new comic out there. Oh no, I can't do it. It's a DC book. No, I hate it. Stop. Damn you, J-Man. Oh, okay. It's a Superman title.
Okay.
You don't have to watch
Joshua Williamson one?
No. I don't know that one.
Action Comics?
No, I can't touch those. I mean, this.
Oh, is it the World's Finest one? From Mark Waid?
That's Mark Waid. My friend of mine's reading that one. The art looks kind of shitty.
I've actually heard that
I hear it's good. I hear it's good.
They like World's Finest.
Yeah. I hear it's good.
Captain Skywalker said that. He said that Shazam and World's Finest.
I tried the Shazam one also.
Yeah,
I'm too much of a Captain Marvel freak to accept it. Wade's really trying to make it fun, jackass though he is. I can't get into the art, and I can't get into. I'm calling him the Captain. I mean, he's Captain Marvel. Screw you. It's still got some of that John's trash in it. It's good. It's a nice comic if you don't mind that stuff.
Okay.
But this book I'm talking about is called Superman Lost.
Superman Lost. Oh,
there's 3 issues
I
out.
I talk about Superman Lost. Yeah, I remember Superman Lost. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I go to look at it because he reviewed it, and then I was looking at the first issue online there, and I'm scrolling like, wait, the art looks pretty good, almost a Brent Anderson type of look to it.
That was a year or two ago, I think.
I don't know. There's only 3 issues out so far. No, it's just coming out. So I start looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this art looks okay. Wait a minute, he looks like Superman. That can't be. It's a modern comic. Wait, he really looks. He's got the costume right. No, that can't be. That can't be right.
No,
and I keep looking at it, and later there's the Justice League in there. I'm like, no, they look like the Justice League almost. Batman almost looks normal. Even Wonder Woman, her costume looks a little bit movie-ish, but still, Aquaman sort of looks like Aquaman. Wait a minute, John Jones, and not bad on that costume, but they all look like sort of like the Justice League. What is it? What's happening here? This can't be a modern DC comic. and basically, he gets lost. And this is not a spoiler. The whole premise of the book is, in the first issue, he goes through this black hole because they're getting the star drive of an alien ship at the bottom of the ocean. Out of there. He's married to Lois in this comic, but it still doesn't fit any particular modern continuity. And he ends up on the other side of the universe. And what takes him about 20 years to get home, although to her it's only a short time. And it's going to be like 10 issues. And the first 3 so far are pretty good, I got to admit.
Wow.
See what you made me do, Nick? I don't want to do that.
No, hey, I stand corrected. I mixed it up with something else, but still, I stand corrected. So
don't pay money for it, folks.
I didn't have any intention to, but I'm glad you enjoy it. I will say that much. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Well, maybe the next issue will suck, and I'll be happy.
That would make you happy, you cranky old goat.
It would.
All right.
I love you, Clobby.
So, Clobby, I still love hearing what you're reading. I still love hearing.
Thank you, man. I promise to read something different next week.
Well, next week we got Teen Titans and X-Men to talk about.
Yeah,
so we're gonna read that.
That's beautiful.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap things up, and this link right here for our remaining peoples. I think a lot of you have already transferred over, which is a good move to do. Courtney's birthday stream. Go hang out with her. Before we get out of here, I'll probably stop in the chat too for a little bit, but we're going to let these gentlemen plug in their stuff one last go round. And thank you for being here and supporting the Comic Shop Talk. Christian Dorm, thank you for your super chats earlier. And we had a nice crowd in here today. And I want to thank Adega Outlaw for coming on and tell us about his book. And I can't wait to see what he's got in the future. And I hope this is not the last time that we do this. I sincerely mean that. And I hope to see some of you in Courtney's chat. And with that, I'm going to let our guest start off with plugging his stuff one last time.
Thanks. 6 books out. If you can't find them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, you can go to it's a name thing. I have an author name, which is Adega, but they insist on doing Adega Outlaw. They need a first and a last. It's just bizarre. If you can't find it, the ISBN numbers are in the descriptions on my YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can listen to my current works. The Reach, which is unrelated to Eda 2, it's kind of a superhero origin. If you like audiobooks, just plug on the playlist and listen all the way through. It's got really cool music from a friend of mine. He's Co.ag Music. And when you get about 2 or 3 episodes in, you'll hear where he was inspired by the stuff and started writing music specifically for it. And at the end of every book, you'll hear music that he had written that was inspired by it. We have this symbiosis thing going on. I just finished one last week. It is the next one in the Blood Witch series. It's, those of you who know what a book Bible is, this is my version, only I put it into a story instead of just reading, this happened then, this happened then. It's a story about everything up to that point. So it's not as action-packed, but it does have a lot of cool history and stuff in there. But this Sunday, and this is the last thing I'll bring up, is since I finished the one book, there's going to be a question and answer. I'm going to have a friend on who's going to, maybe 2 friends that are going to present all kinds of questions that were picked up along the way, and I'll try my best to answer them. That's at 5:30 Central Time. But other than that, thank you, gentlemen, for being kind to me. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share this evening with you guys. It was fun.
Nah, the pleasure and feelings are absolutely
Great to have you here, bud.
mutual, sir. Yeah, great to have you. And you have a great night. You have a great weekend. And as always, we'll see you on the socials. The Common Nerd. And guys, that's Adega Outlaw's channel. Go sub. And I will post again his Amazon link for his newest book. So, Common Nerd, go ahead and plug your plugs.
All right. So next week is my birthday.
Ooh.
So, and we never did like a proper 1 year celebration on my channel either, because everything was just so crazy going on at the time. So obviously I do a bunch of videos all the time. I do pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. I put out videos all the time, but this is what I really want to talk about. Next week, Wednesday show, we're going to do our normal Wednesday show at 6 o'clock, but we're probably going to go late into the night. God only knows how long, depends on how long I last, I guess. Probably only about 38 seconds. But so next Wednesday, Nick, if you drop the link in the chat, everybody go over there and click that. And if you go over there and you hit that little notify me button right there, YouTube will notify you when we go live next Wednesday. So that way, if you forget or whatever like that, YouTube will take care of it. That's why I try to put these things out long in advance and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, everybody on this panel is invited, as well as, the guys that decided to cut out early because, I was sick, and all of that kind of stuff. Adega, I would love to have you on. I love hearing about your books. This universe sounds amazing. I cannot wait to get into it. But yeah, come hang out. We're going to try to have a whole bunch of guests. It's also going to be a member stream. So as a member, we'll be rotating members in and out throughout the entire night. So come check it out. Come hang out. It should be a really good time. Obviously, I'll have all my regular co-hosts, and Jason Sandberg, who you heard from him about his comic book earlier, has become pretty much a regular permanent co-host on that show as well. So we've got ourselves a nice little crew going, and come hang out, help me celebrate my birthday, and let's see how smashed I can get before I pass out on screen. So
I love it.
Right.
Okay, guys, that's the Commoners B-Day Bash stream link. Go click on it, set your reminders, and you will come. Common Nerd, have a great weekend. I will, at the very minimum, try to stop by for a half hour. So usually Wednesdays are tough for me, but I can at least swing in some time for that.
I look at it like this way. If anybody's even got 5 minutes to just pop on and go, hi, glad to see everybody, I got to go. That's more than enough for me.
I love it. I love it. I will come.
I can't wait for you to come.
Oh, I'm going to come.
It's going to be huge.
Clubby.
Thanks for having me as always, buddy.
My pleasure.
Tomorrow night, Raquel and I, of course, 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine on Saturday Night Star Trek reviews, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, same Trek time, same Clubby channel, and then of course Sunday night the geekery on the Great Mark D with the Seas channel, and J-Man, I'll be on with J-Man. Monday at 6 for our continuing review of every appearance of the Legion of Superheroes in order, and then that night Jason Sandberg will be on with me to talk Jupiter.
Nice.
And then a week from this Monday night, I will have the great Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic on as my guest.
Woo! That's
Hell
huge.
yeah.
Huge. All right, Klobby, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to catch those shows. You, sir, have a great weekend. Of
Thank
course,
you, buddy.
I'll see you next week on Midnight's Edge and
Yeah,
for
brother.
Teen Titans and X-Men. We're gonna have
I
some
can't
fun,
wait.
brother. All right. And we're gonna have to figure out an idea for another one-on-one show between us soon. We gotta figure out the next idea.
Yeah, buddy. Let's review something, man.
I'm down.
Somebody wants us to review the X-Men Fox thing, but we could. It don't have to be that. But someone mentioned it once.
Well,
It would take some doing on your part, huh?
It would, but we'll figure something out, and it'll be
Gotcha.
huge. All right, man.
Will.
All right,
All right,
chat. Still 13 of you in here. Go bombard Courtney for her live stream.
Will
Toxic Tuesday. The long shots we're doing the hockey movie. Yes, we're doing that for Toxic Tuesday, and of course we'll be here next week for Titans and X-Men. Of course, you can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark, and of course, Yelling at Park Cars and TNT. And I will have more videos out again as per usual. So, yes, guys, this is it. This is goodbye. Good fight.